Yeah, well, I mean, Doc has the ingredients, knowing how to bring stars together. He's played for a star in Pat Riley. He's played with a star in Dominique Wilkins, and he's also had the opportunity to coach stars. And he just have a unique tool. Not too many coaches have had the ingredients and also been successful with it. Phil Jackson is one who's also been able to bring stars together. Steve Kerr, if you want to throw that out there. And it's a unique talent, and he's able to teach these players every day from each and every angle that he's had to deal with it, from a coaching standpoint and from a player. And now he has an opportunity to do it again. And I heard a lot that he was saying in that interview is that he had to put the right people in place in the organization to get players on the outside to believe and to want to give the Clippers a try, because they've always kind of been on the doormat of the Lakers. And now what Kawhi did this summer has changed the whole landscape of how people think of the Clippers.
I'm interested that you mentioned Steve Kerr and Phil Jackson. Those are both former NBA players. As a former, I mean, when you and Michael Jordan, you are big stars in this league.
Yes.
Are you just more likely to listen to a guy who you know played the same way these two guys are stars in this league, and they've got a guy who played now coaching?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, having Phil Jackson there, knowing Phil had won a title with the Knicks, hey, we listen in and we hone in as players. We knew Phil wasn't the star of the team, but we also knew that he was probably the glue that brought that team together, and that's what he was kind of teaching us and getting us to buy in and believe in.
Well, there's one really big similarity between this Clippers team and the Boston team that Doc brought together in 2007 and 8. Both teams have the potential to be historically good defensively. That Boston Celtics team in 07-08 had the third best defensive efficiency rating in the last 15 years. Like, they were first in the league. Nobody scored on that team. And as much as we all think about Ray Allen and Paul Pierce, KG as that backline defender was an incredible defensive force. This Clippers team, I mean, Paul George used the word scary. With Pat Beverly, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Montrezl Harrell, I mean, this team can be an incredible defensive team, and I think that's what they have to build their reputation and their chemistry on.
Well, I mean, defense does win titles, and when you look at the Clippers instantly, you're going to see they're going to get out of the blocks pretty good because they are already ready to defend on one end of the court. Yes, they have to get better from the offensive end, build some chemistry, find out who's going to be that guy in late game situation, whether it's going to be Kawhi or Paul George or even Montrezl. That team is loaded, but on the defensive end, I think they're going to be excellent this season, and I expect big things from them.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned Montrezl Harrell, and of course we know Pat Beverly and how tough he is. And sort of you talk about that old 2008 team. Yeah. Rajon Rondo wasn't technically part of the big three. He was such a defensive force as a point guard, right? So like they just have all those other pieces that kind of defensively. I think that's such a great comparison on that side of the ball.
And there is one big difference though, is that team had never won it before.
Yeah.
Kawhi Leonard's won.
Yeah.
And so this team, you know, this isn't somebody who's never been there before. This isn't a group that has to, they're all going to have to all sacrifice because Kawhi and Paul joining a team that had a pretty good year last year and took the Warriors 6 games in the first round. Those guys, they all ate, right? There was no true superstar there. Somehow, mathematically, Montrezl Harrell and Lou Williams both were finalists for Sixth Man of the Year. I don't know how that works.
Interesting.
But those were the 2 stars, and they were 6 men. So they are going to have to learn how to sacrifice and come together pretty quickly because there's a lot expected of them. But I think if they build their reputation, they build their identity on defense, that can happen fast.
All right, Scottie, you just heard Ramona say it. There's a lot expected of them. What is the bar of success for the Clippers this year?
You know, earlier I thought about it, and I'm like, them winning a title with everything wide open, you just got the finals MVP, so the confidence got to be pretty high. And also with Paul George, you got the 6th Man of the Year. But I think just getting to the Western Conference Finals will be a successful season for them.
Really? Yep. That really?
Yeah, because when I look at the other teams around the Lakers, they're strong. They also have a guy by the name of LeBron James, so he gets even more bump up. And now you look at Houston. I think those 2 teams really staying in their way. If they could get by those 2 things, I don't think they're quite ready to win a championship.
That is
but
so
it's about getting there and feeling that success. I think it's going to take them 2 years, but I do think they have the roster to win a title.
The Clippers are going to disagree with both of us, okay? They're going to want to say that they're after a title. They didn't get a team together like this to not win a title. The Clippers have never made it out of the second round.
Right.
Let me say that again.
Wow.
They have never made it out of the second round of the playoffs.
Franchise.
Yes, I have lived here my entire life. I have covered Clippers teams with high expectations.
Yes.
Never made it out of the second round. So when you say conference finals, that is a big step for them.
And look, there is the idea in the NBA of you've got to do it in stages, right? You guys had to bump into the Pistons and then finally beat the Pistons and get over that. And we've seen that with teams. But the window is smaller in the NBA than it used to be. These two guys are only locked into contracts for 2 years. So on your plan, the two of you guys, you're basically saying, okay, conference finals this year, and then maybe they'll be ready for the finals and winning the year after. But it is an accelerated timeline. And of course, you have that thump heartbeat of the Lakers next door. And look, I was shocked at this. We were talking this before the show. You're an LA native. That Paul George got booed at an MMA event in Los Angeles this weekend, and Kawhi Leonard got booed at a Rams game this weekend. This is their town they're in. When Kawhi Leonard went to a baseball game in Toronto, people went crazy. They're getting booed in LA because they did not join the Lakers.
They both rejected the Lakers. Okay, so it's not just that they didn't join the Lakers. They both said no to the Lakers.
But the Clippers play in this city too.
I know. I have always found this to be a strange fan behavior in LA.
As someone who is not from here, this is bizarre to me.
Because usually the Laker fans
get booed in New York, so get ready
when he plays
for
at the
it.
Garden,
And
he'll get booed
Kyrie.
there.
Right, that's a good point.
But Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, they all got booed when they were Clippers too. Chris Paul famously went to the Dodger game.
I remember
and
that and got booed.
Showered with boos. Rachel, here's the difference. The opposite of love is not hate; it is indifference. And for a long time, Laker fans used to be indifferent to Clipper fans because, quite frankly, they were not a threat. Not only are they not a threat, they're not a threat. They are a threat now. They are taking what Laker fans think that they deserve.
The word deserve, I think
Deserve
that
is the right word.
That Lakers fans felt that way. I was fascinated by that to see that up close. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.